In this video, I'm going to try to convert my KTM 690 Enduro R into a Supermoto. I purchased the wheels on Marketplace and I thought they would be a straight swap. Everything was wrong about them. The hub, the spacing, the brake discs, everything. So this is going to be an interesting experiment. I'm going to try to make these wheels fit by using custom spacers and try avoid changing the hubs and having the wheels respoked. We're at this point where I've got the spindle through and the wheel is in on both the front and the back. So I need a spacer in that area. And for the front, I've got to try to get the wheel in the middle, then work out what I need on this side. And then I need a collar to go inside here because the original fork is too big. The diameter is too big for the spindle that's going to fit on this wheel. So I've got that through. It's currently held in with a spacer which I've nicked off a 250 temporarily, just to hold that spindle in the middle. Normally you'd put the spindle through this way, but I've had to put it this way through. So I've locked this up. I need to figure out that distance there. Make sure that once I figured out the dimensions that I need for my spacers, I made a quick sketch and took it over to Ash over at Premier Tools. It was quick to understand and started to prepare the CNC. It machined all the components out of a solid aluminium billet. It was quite satisfying to see the drawings come to life. This was the drawing, and these are the components, the spacers that I've had made. It should be alright. There you go, perfect fit. Oh, check that out, man. So what I've done is, that groove that I had made, I've lined it up perfectly with that. So when I pinch these bolts, it should close on that as well. Spacer sits in like that, okay, goes through that and should line up. Okay, here we go, there, line up with that. Okay, that's quite good. See if I tap that in. Ah, perfect. Spacer that I've had made in here, there you go, nice snug fit. I've got is to see if the brake disc lines up. The caliper was getting in the way, so it was better to just remove it. Before taking on this project, I didn't watch any YouTube videos. I couldn't find any projects that were similar to this. It was just try to work with logic. There's a bit of backwards and forwards, but as you will see in this video, there was a lot of trial and error. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to pinch this side up. I'm not going to torque it up, just pinch it up so when I tap this collar back in again, it's not going to push the it's not pushing up, good. Once I started putting everything together, tightening the pinch bolts on the fork legs, I realised there was a problem. Tighten that bolt up and then pinch this up. So as you can see, that wheel sits pretty nice. For some reason it started to bind. Okay, so it didn't move freely anymore. Have I got it too tight? I'll tell you what's going on. Before I could solve the problem at the front, I thought I'd check the rear. Okay, you see that? Very good. Oh, wow. Initially, I was quite impressed to see the spacer fit like a glove. Now, the only thing was to see is when I tightened the spindle nut, if it was going to bind or not. Just put that in the right way.
The same problem. The wheel was binding.
After I tried this on, what I realised was this little lip over here, I didn't leave it long enough because that wasn't reaching the bearing, and it only sat within the rubber grommet, the rubber dust seal. So when I was putting the pressure on, trying to tighten it, it was binding with the with the rubber seal. Now the rubber seal moves with the wheel. Same situation for the back wheel as well, and so I still need that distance, but this just needs to be longer, so I couldn't. So I'm just going to try this new trick. Okay, that's it. That's what I wanted. So this is how it needs to be. So now this will reach the bearing. So when I put the clamping pressure on, it will go up to the bearing. So the bearing will stay still and the wheel around it will move. I've done the same for the rear as well. So it's just 10 mil as opposed to 4 mil. I don't know why I got that measurement for 4 mil on this one. But yeah, other than that, all the spacing, everything seemed correct. It's perfect. So I'm just going to line that back up again, and then just make sure that this not. Yeah, okay, just tighten that up.
There's a procedure that I follow, tightening the pinch bolts up on the fork legs. Because the spindle is going from right to left, I first nip up the one on the right, and then I compress the suspension. I then go on to tightening up the main spindle nut on the opposite side, give the suspension a pump again, just to make sure everything's free and the suspension is moving freely, and finally I go on to pinching up fork leg on the left.
Perfect. So previously the bearing was moving, not the bearing, the spacer was moving, but now that's clamped up and it's.
The rear wheel was put on the stand and was to check the wheel was running true, and now all that was left was to test the bike on the road.
It's too close, isn't it? Go on a bit more.
Half a mile down the road and we come across another problem. The right fork leg was touching the front wheel. It was rubbing up against the red cover at the bottom of the fork tube.
Just move this suspension fork leg to the left a little bit, so give that a bit more clearance. So what needs to be done is this side, I need to take it back by about 3 mil or 4 mil, and then that whole wheel will go to the right a little bit.
This meant we're back to the drawing board.
I've had to have this machine back by another 6 mil, so now I've got 11 mil on the top here, 10 mil there. That'll fit up against that should fit in that gap. There you go, perfect. Now, perfect. So I can put both the guards on, they're touching equal. I might just have to file a little bit on either side. Now this part here is going to go in the wheel, in the hob.
The wheels were all torqued up and the bike is now ready for a test ride. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Join me on the next video to see me test ride the newly converted 690 Enduro R SMC.